What's up, everyone? I'm Terrell. I want to welcome you back to my channel, and this is the Wonder Woman 1984 spoiler full review. Okay, it's going to be full of spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, I suggest that you do, and then come back to this channel, to this video, and check it out. Or if you just don't care about spoilers, then just sit put, grab a snack, sit back, and get ready for me to attack this film because I have a whole lot to say. Promise you, because I felt some kind of way watching this film. It was everything that I thought it might be, and that's not a good thing. But before we get into all that, first, I would just want to encourage you all to please hit that subscribe button so you can subscribe to my channel and get notifications whenever I post a new video, so you can keep up to date with what I got going on and what I have to say. I appreciate it. Alright, now let's tackle this film. Now, as you could probably tell from the thumbnail, I didn't like this film. It's pretty much I like this much about the film and I didn't like this much about the film. So, yeah, let's go all in. Okay, so the tone of the film. The tone of this film was, they did a complete 180 from the original, well, from the first film starring Gal Gadot in 2017. Now, I loved that film. The third act was kind of dry and it really needed some reworking. It just wasn't great, but I enjoyed that film as a whole. I gave that film like an A pretty much, or if nothing less, a B plus. It was a great film. It was the kind of Wonder Woman that I've always loved, more of the warrior and the ferocious warrior with a lot of empathy and a nice sense of humor. But she's a warrior, you know. She's not this prissy pageant queen. Even though I like the Linda Carter version and I love Linda Carter, I feel like her version was more of the pageant queen, the kind of prissy pageant queen who was more so there to pretty much make a lot of men from that era back in the late 60s feel more comfortable with a strong woman. You know, they didn't really feel comfortable having a strong woman on TV, so they kind of watered down the Wonder Woman character and made her more palatable for their viewers, particularly their male viewers, so that the male viewers didn't feel less than around a strong woman. Any secure man would never feel less than around a strong woman, okay? No strong man, no truly strong man feels insecure around a strong woman, but a lot of men back then did, and a lot of men today still do. But luckily things have changed, and there are a ton of strong women on TV they have been on TV for years. But the Wonder Woman version from the TV show from the 60s or 70s, that was never my favorite version of Wonder Woman. My favorite version of Wonder Woman was the one from the 2017 version of the film, and the one from the Justice League cartoon. She's this ferocious Amazon princess who didn't take any crap, but she was also very kind and empathic and compassionate and assertive. I feel like Gal Gadot, she did a better job at playing that ferocious and compassionate warrior than this kind of pageant queen, colorful, cartoonish version. The movie was just too long. That's another thing I didn't like. It was way too long. It's 2.5 hours. I fell asleep on the movie about an hour into it on Christmas Day, partially because I had a lot of carbs and grease and sugar, so I got really drowsy, got the food coma, and fell asleep. But if the movie is really interesting, you know, from start to finish, then I would have stayed awake, I'm pretty sure. I did for the Avengers Endgame, and that was 3 hours, so Wonder Woman, there's no excuses. I blame Patty Jenkins, even though I still love Patty Jenkins. Now, yes, the movie was too long. The plot was stupid to me. It was all about this magic stone that could grant people's wishes, and of course, with any kind of thing that grants your wishes, there's always an unforeseen consequence, you know, because this is a personal gain kind of thing. And if you've watched Charmed, you'll know about the personal gain consequences, and it's usually a consequence that no one sees coming. So you can't do something so selfish and expect there to not be some kind of consequence to your actions. It just doesn't work that way. And Diana felt the consequences of it. Barbara Minerva Cheetah got, you know, there were consequences to what she wanted. She wanted to be like Diana, but she didn't realize she had all these powers and that she'd lose her humanity. And Diana wanted Steve to come back, but she didn't realize that to get the thing that she wanted the most, she'd lose the greatest thing that she had about herself the most, which were her abilities. And Max was losing his health. It was just a lot going on. I didn't like the plot. It was just kind of, it seemed like they kind of made it up as they went along. It just wasn't something that I think being a Wonder Woman movie. If you're gonna deal with magic and supernatural stuff, have Cersei. Cersei should have just been the villain. I've been saying this for years, well, for the past 3 years, that Cersei should have been the villain for this movie, because in the first movie we saw Diana fight a lot of people that required her to be physical a lot. So I thought it would have been really, really great for her character development, for her to now have to fight an adversary who made her rely on her intelligence to get through things and to win, and a little bit of her physical abilities, but more so, her brain. Like, is she smart enough to beat this person? What does she need to do differently in order to beat Cersei? But we never got there, because Cersei isn't the villain in this movie, but hopefully she'll be the villain in the next. She needs to be the villain in the next, because this movie just sucked to me. It just sucked. Both villains sucked in this film. The characters of both the villains, of Max, Lord, and Cheetah, they don't suck, but they sucked in this movie to me for a number of reasons. So this review will be a lot longer if I got into those reasons. So if you've seen the movie and if you feel the way I do, you already know what I'm talking about. I love Gal Gadot, but I don't think she's a good actress. I think if she wasn't as beautiful as she is, she would not be Wonder Woman. And if she wasn't as sweet and so well loved too, it pays to be likable. If people don't like to work with you, then you won't be working, so she seems like a great human being, but I just don't think she's a good actress. I just think that she's good enough. I personally think that Gina Carano would have been a far better Wonder Woman in every way. So she's not a far better actress than Gal, but I think she is a better actress, and she looks like Wonder Woman to me. And Gal looks more like an upgraded version of Kim Kardashian to me. And I love Kim too, but I'm just saying. Gal's performance wasn't the only one that I had an issue with. I think Pedro Pascal is an amazing actor, but I think that right here, the director, she wanted him to be outrageous, clearly, because he was extremely outrageous and colorful and animated. I didn't like that version of Max. I didn't like that version of Pedro. It just felt very forced. I've seen Pedro do way better things, so I don't blame him again, because he's a really great actor. I just didn't like that version of him. Like, I just didn't like that version of Max. It seemed very he seemed very cartoonish and made up. Too animated, too over the top. Took me out of the movie. Kind of made me frustrated and bored, because they spent a lot of time on that. Him being so crazy and just so fanatical. And there was nothing really going on. They wasted a lot of time just doing next to nothing. The movie could have been an hour shorter. It really could have, for a number of reasons. Again, I won't go into those reasons, because this review will be a whole lot longer. Now, Gal and Pedro, I think that they had good chemistry working together as the villain and the hero, and they had a lot of similarities. So I think that worked for them. But what I think that never worked really, and you all might hate me, is the Steve and Diana love thing. I mean, in these Gal Gadot movies, I don't think Gal Gadot and Chris Pine have good chemistry at all. I think they seem cool, like they're friends and stuff, but on screen they don't feel like lovers to me. Maybe because their story was kind of all just thrown together in one film, which was the previous film, so I never really felt like they were in love back then either. It's much like I feel like about Pepper Potts and Tony Stark. Never felt like they were in love, but they were together for so long. Same with Peter Quill and Gamora. Never felt like they were in love. They told us that they were in love, but it didn't mean that we all believed it. Chemistry, the love kind of chemistry, it isn't something you can just put in a script. It's either there or it's not. Some people may have felt it, for Pepper Potts and Tony Stark and Peter Quill and Gamora, and for Steve and Diana, but I didn't feel it for either of the three couples. I really didn't. I really wanted to feel it for Steve and Diana, because I felt it in the cartoon, in the Justice League cartoon, but I never felt it in this film, or in the last film, to be fair. Now, when Wonder Woman put on Asteria's golden armor, I was like, It's like she just put it on just for show, like a fashion show. It didn't really do anything. It didn't give her any more protection than she had before. It was just there just for a prop, just to make her look cool. And I kind of felt like she stole Hawk Girl's whole look. You know, Hawk, I feel like Hawk Girl is somewhere just screaming at the TV screen at HBO Max, like, she stole my look, she stole my look. How do you guys expect me to be in the future Justice League movie when Diana wore my wings in her sequel, her really bad sequel? You know, Shira is somewhere just furious right now because Diana stole her look and didn't even do anything with it. She took off the wings and everything, and Cheetah broke through that cheap armor. It was just a mess. Speaking of Cheetah, she was a mess. I love the Barbara Minerva character, but I don't feel like she should have turned into Cheetah into maybe a future movie. You know, give us something to look forward to, something to build up towards, you know, make us excited, make us really love this character. Barbara Minerva was just a typical nerd who wished that she was one of the popular girls. And we've all seen that before, so this wasn't anything fresh or new. And I kind of feel like they crammed Cheetah and Max in the same film just to kind of make this film seem like it was more exciting than it really is. You know, so Cheetah was wasted here. Max was just too over the top. There were maybe 4 action scenes, like only 4, and it's in a 2.5-hour film. And we've all been waiting for like 3 years for this sequel, and it feels like 10 years because of COVID. And now that we finally have gotten it, we only got like 4 scenes in it, and they were all really cartoonish, to be honest. I don't know, the truck scene in like Saudi Arabia and stuff, that was cool. It was really cool, but the rest of them just seemed I don't know. Wonder Woman didn't really seem like she was in danger, like in any real danger at any time. And I just didn't like that. Even when she lost her powers, she was still kicking butt and taking names because she still had her skills. One thing that I love about Wonder Woman always is that she always relied on her skills, not on her powers. You know, her powers were just a bonus, but she always relied on her Amazonian fighting skills. Now, once again, in a Wonder Woman movie, in the Patty Jenkins Wonder Woman movie, the third act was drier than an old woman's lady parts. It just really was. It was so dry. And in the cave, the government cave part with Max and Diana, it was strange because when, you know, you had Max like screaming and stuff because it was so loud and windy in there, but then you had Diana talking to him so ever so softly. You know, she kind of came off as being a bit self-righteous and scripted, you know, again, which leads me to feel like Gal is not really a good actress. But she's just good enough. There was a lot of WTF moments there. Like, how are you hearing her, Max, when you have to scream for her to hear you, but she's just speaking softly and you still hear her? Huh? I don't know. I feel like everything was done here in such a grand way. You know, we got 2 big villains in this film solely because Patty Jenkins in DC, you know, they kind of painted themselves into a corner with Wonder Woman. You know, Wonder Woman, she got her powers. She left the land of the lesbians. She found love with a man, surprisingly enough. And now she just plays the role of superhero without wearing a mask. And yet, you know, she knocks out all these cameras as a way to kind of hide her identity. Like, you don't want anyone to know who you are, but you're walking around without a mask. Maybe you just want them to see your makeup or something. I don't know. So basically, there's not really anywhere else for this character to go in the films. You know, so it feels like to me, like, you know, that there are nothing. You know, a lot of colors and weird and outrageous characters were tossed into the air as a way to kind of distract us from how bad this movie is, or they tried to distract us anyway. You know, and I don't know, I kind of feel like all of the Wonder Woman cards have been played, much like a Saturday morning cartoon. This film was, in a way. You know, this character has been fully realized in the films. You know, but so now you can't really see them grow anymore. Like in a Saturday morning cartoon, you don't really see the character grow anymore a lot. You just see them fighting a different villain each week, pretty much. You know, they just fight a new villain each week. And this film, plot-wise, was so much like a cartoon. You know, it had this animated villain and a lot of cheesy scenes. It honestly just felt like the Wonder Woman Saturday morning cartoon, you know, that should have been 22 minutes, but instead it was unfortunately 155 minutes of our time that we can never get back. So let's move on to the good stuff now. I love the world building that Patty Jenkins did. I love the opening scene with the Amazons. I feel like most of the movie should have been there because that was one of the best scenes in the entire movie, pretty much, in my opinion. I love the cinematography. It was a beautiful film, beautiful, well colored, everything well lit. I love the 80s clothes, the shoulder pads, everything. Now, the second best part of this entire film to me was the mid-credit scene featuring the legendary Miss Linda Carter, as Asteria. Such a great surprise, because I thought it was Diana walking, but when she turned around, I said, oh, what? Holy TV icons, it's Linda Carter. It was just amazing. It was like, wow, such a great surprise. So that was the second best thing in this film to me. But the best part to me was the end, actually, because it was over, finally. This movie just felt like such a chore to get through. Now, speaking of the end, this is the end of this review, so you can follow me, if you'd like to, on Instagram at creative_Klaus. Okay, now if you like this video, make sure you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell too, so that you can get notified whenever I post a new video. Now, as always, don't forget to fly high and fly free. Be you, because everyone else is taken. Okay? Alright, now you can check out another wonderful video from me right now, and zoom, zap,